Hi, I'm Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer. Yesterday I was in this yard and did some samples and horrifically found 8 to 12 or 13 mites per sample. So I'm not wasting any more time getting mite treatments in all of them right away. And that's my cue to get to the other yards and get them treated too. So we're going to go through here and we're going to use Formic Pro where I can because the temperatures are just right. But also where the colonies are too small to use Formic Pro, and that is 5 frames of bees. In other words, the nukes that I made a few weeks ago are still some of them are still a bit too small for Formic Pro. I'll be using a different mite treatment, that's HopGuard. The nukes are now done, and taking out the 2 that didn't make it, we've got 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 out of 22. Hey, I'm pleased with that. 20 out of 22. Okay, now for the Formic Pro treatment. Yeah, the only problem with HopGuard is this stuff on your hands. So here's one of the pluses of having a wood chip base. Nice absorbent stuff. Bees don't mind the earthy smell on your gloves. But you can also wash your gloves, which would be a good idea. Or put something over your gloves to protect them. Right. I'm going to go through all these hives with Formic Pro. You'll be able to see as I get closer and closer. Now, Formic Pro, just in case it wasn't clear in previous videos, Formic Pro comes in foil pads and then 2 pads inside that. Foil wrap, 2 pads. Each pad is wrapped in this paper type material. You leave the paper material on. It's a way of slowing down the release of the formic acid. This will be a good opportunity going around all my hives also to see what the honey situation is. As I was saying before, it appears that most of the honey was made weeks ago, and what's been made in the last few weeks has been negligible. Oh, boy, this is full of honey. That's at least nice. Strips going on, and the hive closing up. Right, this colony is actually in wonderful shape honey-wise. This one's in pretty good shape too. Wrap off. 2 pads on. Super back on. Honey super back on. And there's even some honey in the honey super. This has been empty, so I'm not feeding them while I've got a honey super on. I went through these two yesterday. This is one of the, looked for the queen in one, couldn't find it. And found a lot of mites in the other. There you go. Upper brood chamber off. Close it up. Formic acid out. Separate the pads. Lay them across the frames. Super back on. Now, with formic acid, you also want to make sure that there's nothing blocking the entrances. So on one or two of these hives, I've got to make sure the mouse guards come off. The other thing you have to check is that if they have a screened bottom board, the screen needs to be blocked off, so your tray needs to go in to stop fumes coming out directly from the bottom of the hive. Let's just check to see that we can see this. Pad up. Separate the two pads. One goes across there. One goes across there. And then we close her up. No honey in there. There is honey in here. They want some more smoke. Plenty of honey here. This hive had a lot of honey. And it's no surprise it was a double nuke. But in the case of a double nuke, I'm going to still be able to treat the same sort of way. treat the double nuke like you would the other hives. One across there, one across there, as if it was a single brood chamber. And we close them up again. I don't know, but it just seems that Saskatchewans kind of like being in double nukes. Certainly produce a lot of honey. Okay, that is this row done. Now, let's look at the others. We've still got this. The bees are occupying 3/4 of that. But they're not going to occupy honey super. There's plenty of honey in it. Wow. So we're still going to put that on just in case we get a flow. Because you don't want your hives to have no space if you do have a honey flow. So you don't want to leave your hives totally crammed up at the beginning of September. As the honey flow could start a little later, but I'm not really expecting it, to be honest. Oh. Let's put this on for room. The honey that's in here will act like a queen excluder in its own right. The queen doesn't like going over a barrier of honey. So I don't really expect there to be any issues here with the queen laying in the honey super. Smoke, smoke, smoke. What's causing this to stick up like that? Nothing. Oh, because this isn't on right, that's why. Honey super empty. Well, 80% empty. Brood chamber. Mm. 50% full. I'll get these straight this time. There we go. It's a bit better. There's another double nuke here. I did 2 double nukes in this yard, both of which had filled up quite nicely with honey, despite the circumstances. Ooh. 10 to 15 pounds of honey in there. £20 of honey in there. Another 20 pounds, if I recall correctly. Hasn't been, it's not much of a change from last time I looked in there. Okay, so there we have it for now. I'll do those yards next. Right, so all the bees in this part of the yard have now been treated. All the nukes with Formic Pro. I mean all the nukes with HopGuard. Nukes.HopGuard. And the remaining larger colonies all got Formic Pro, a stronger treatment. Condensed a few colonies and we'll let bees rob out the little bit of honey that I've got in some of these supers here. I don't think that's going to be a major issue. And I will go to that side of the yard and get that half dozen hives or so completed next. Anyway, you don't have to watch me in fast motion do everything. Believe me, it's not fast motion. It's a slow and back-aching process, but needs to be done. And I will sleep better tonight knowing that I've treated them and at least the problem won't get worse. So, anyway, if your colonies haven't been treated for mites yet this year, for goodness sake, try and get a treatment in there. At least try and get, if you can't, at least get some sampling done. But if you can't get sampling done, get a treatment on. In all probability, your colonies will have sufficient mites to give them problems, which is very likely to lead to their loss over the winter time, if not before. And what a shame to waste all that effort for the sake of opening up the hive and sticking in a pad of Formic Pro. Anyway, these bees are on their way to better health. Very disappointing to see so little honey flow, but that's beekeeping. It doesn't work out all season long every year. We had a pretty good spring, so I'm not going to complain. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer. See you next time.